Hello everyone and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. My name is David and today I wanted to talk about three different approaches to photography, right? So we have these three separate facets of this hobby slash profession slash passion, whatever we want to call it, right? And this applies in my book to both photography as well as cinematography and video production. So I wanted to break it down, and I do have some notes in front of me, so apologies if I look down from time to time just to reference kind of my notes here, but I wanted to talk about the difference between photography for work, photography for fun, and photography as a passion. So this whole idea started to kind of marinate in my mind when I was watching other photographers on YouTube and the internet and different places, and a lot of photographers will talk about how they will find a project that sort of inspires them, right? They have this passion for something that is, it's not necessarily photography, but it's the thing that they're photographing that drives them, that creates this desire to go make pictures, right? And it got me thinking about this because I think that there are three different approaches to photography, and they're all valid in their own ways, and a lot of them overlap and interlink, but I wanted to kind of discuss it because I find myself often confused as to the actual purpose of why I'm making a picture, why I'm making a film. And the first is to break down the difference between fun, work, and passion. Now, obviously, if you love photography as a thing, as the scientific slash artistic way of expressing yourself, and then you're able to go work and get paid to do that, then obviously work and fun kind of like mesh together and become this sort of unification. It might not be that you love every second of it because it is work and you are required to deliver a product, but you may often or most of the time find yourself really enjoying the work that you're doing, and that's amazing. But I wanted to break it down and kind of categorize different types of photography into different categories, which is, like I say, work, passion, and fun. I also wanted to explain a little bit about the fact that I don't actually think I love photography. I think I love certain types of photography or certain subgenres, if you will, and I'll explain. So we start with fun, right? Everyone kind of gets into photography under the fun category, which is you just want to go out and shoot. You just enjoy photography, right? You want to go take pictures of a flower, of birds in your neighborhood. You want to go out on a hike and take pictures of nature. You want to go, whatever it is, right? I could go on and on and on, and I probably would if I didn't stop myself. So that's kind of where everything starts, right? But now you get into this other sort of nuanced area, if you will, of now you figured out that you like photography, but now you're figuring out what type of photography you like, or you're finding a little bit of a niche for yourself, or maybe you're trying to get paid, so you start to bring a work expectation element into it, which is obviously not a bad thing. I'm not trying to say that working as a photographer is necessarily a bad thing, but I wanted to make this video specifically because for about 3 years, not really full-time, but close to full-time, I made wedding films. And I would go, and I worked with other people, but one of the things that we would do is we'd go to a wedding, we'd film it, we'd edit it, and we'd deliver a final wedding film. And at first it was this amazing thing, right? I was getting paid to make movies, essentially, which was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I am to this day very grateful for the experience I got doing it. But I realized something. I do not like filmmaking, full stop. Because I didn't like doing wedding films. That wasn't an environment that I felt like was where I was supposed to be. I didn't feel passionate about the subject matter, right? It was fun because it was filmmaking and it fulfilled a financial need, which was work. But it didn't tick that third box, which is passion. I wasn't passionate about weddings, which by its very nature means that I wasn't making as good of a product as someone who was passionate about weddings. That's just how it is, right? Because the thing about work is that when it stops being fun, you don't want to necessarily do it. The thing about a passion is you don't have a choice. Whether or not you're having fun, you have this inner desire, this need to do that thing because you're so passionate about it. And so one of the things that I sort of have struggled with in recent years, and this year in particular, because I've had a lot of time to sort of sit with myself and think about things, is what is it within photography that I'm actually passionate about? One thing that I really do love, and I never would have thought I would have said this, is sports photography. Now, you can ask anyone who knows me. I'm not that into sports. I can't really tell you much about any particular team. I'm not a sports person. I don't follow sports. I'm not super into sports. I don't even really have a favorite sport. It's not really my cup of tea. What I love and what I'm actually genuinely passionate about is sports photography. Don't know why. I don't know why that is the thing that got me. I won't really go to a sporting event just to watch it, but I'll go with a camera and I'll make pictures. That's the weird paradox that I find myself in. And I think part of the issue is that although I'm not the biggest fan of sports, I am intrigued by sports photography because it is incredibly difficult and challenging because of everything. Within photography, there's certain things that are very controllable and there's certain things that are very uncontrollable. And sports photography is very uncontrollable. You don't really control the lighting. You don't really control the action. It could go left. It could go right. It could go up. It could go down. It can go sideways. It can go on the field. It can go off the field. The lighting's usually terrible. If it's an outdoor sport, you have the sun. It's moving. You can't predict things. Maybe the lights are crap in the gym. Maybe the lights are great in the gym. All of these factors coming together. Not to mention, there's an access issue. There's a human factor. Everything in sports photography is working against the photographer. And I like that because it challenges me it forces me to be creative in my approach to solving the problem, which is how do I make an interesting picture? And that's what I like about sports photography, despite the fact that I don't necessarily love sports, right? That's what I want to make this video about, is to say, try different things. Within photography, within filmmaking, I use the term photography or cinematography or filmmaking interchangeably, but within this creative medium of using light to tell stories, because that's what we do as photographers and filmmakers. We're painting with light, essentially, right? Not to be too esoteric, but that's what we do. That's what a lens is. It focuses light on a sensor. So my advice to anyone watching this who happens to be a photographer, who happens to be a filmmaker, is find something that you're passionate about to photograph or to film. But don't make the mistake that I made initially by thinking that anything you film, you will be passionate about, because that's not the case, right? Filmmaking is fun. Photography is fun. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to love what you do, period, just because it's photography, right? You kind of have to dig a little deeper and find that thing that actually makes you passionate. But the other mistake that I made, was closing doors on things that I didn't think I would be passionate about. I never would have told you 6 years ago-ish. I don't know when exactly I started doing sports photography, but let's say 6 years ago. Never in my life would I have said the thing that I'm really passionate about photographing is sports. Because I didn't follow sports. I wasn't a fan of sports. But that then became something I was passionate about, specifically from a photographic perspective. If you're passionate about something, explore it photographically, but also consider going to photograph something that you know nothing about or that you don't think you would like. Because that's what ended up happening to me with sports, and I ended up finding myself in a situation where I discovered this new passion that I had within photography that opened a lot of doors for me and created some cool opportunities. And I never would have gone down that road on my own, but because I met some people in the right places at the right times that convinced me to try it out, I discovered something that I'm really passionate about. So, anyways, that's kind of why I wanted to make this video. Explore. That's what it comes down to. Pick up a camera, go outside, and make some pictures, and see what ends up making the cut for you. And of course, it's different for everyone. But just thought I'd share a little bit about how I sort of discovered the passion for sports photography, and also to just let you know, it's not always what you think. Photography has a weird way of surprising us. So roll with the punches and see what happens. All right. Hopefully this was useful for someone. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And given that it's 12:02 a.m. in California, I think it's safe to say this video is not going up till February. So happy February. I was trying to get it up on January 31st, but that's not going to happen. So happy February. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye. Oh, I need the thing. I need the illusion of professionalism. It is an illusion. But it's better than this crazy white t-shirt that does not instill, I know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about, but this helps to make everyone believe that I know what I'm talking about, including myself, which is the most important person to convince that you know what you're talking about. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, we can also bump this up just a bit. Isn't this the most exciting YouTube video you've ever watched?